And for more on this development, I'm being joined by the publisher Inside Watch Africa and Global Affairs analyst Lucia Adeyemo. Good to have you on the news at this time. So first off, what do you make of the president's visit to St. Lucia, which has been described as a landmark diplomatic and cultural mission?
Okay, first of all, I believe that we cannot do too much when it concerns visiting other countries to expand our friends. As it stands right now, the world is shrinking. The traditional friends or alliances that we had before, in some way, is sort of shrinking. The Americans are putting a lot of conditions on the table as regards our relationship with them. And I think for every right-thinking president or government of any nation, this is the time to start looking at opening up more networks, ensuring that you're able to build up your network and get more friends in the house, because I believe there's a lot to learn, apart from the historical ties that is between both countries. There's a lot to learn, particularly in developing a very, very strategic tourism industry that they are doing very well in. I believe that, doing business with them or coming into alliance with a country as St. Lucia, we will have a lot to learn. We could also look at the diversification of the economy. They're doing well in that area as well. So in my opinion, I believe strongly that Mr. President's visit to St. Lucia at a time like this is good for our nation, because in my opinion, is opening up new frontiers for the development of the country.
Right, but beyond aligning with Nigeria's foreign policy and, of course, diaspora relations, democracy and other highlights you've mentioned, what other opportunities now do you think can be harnessed by this relationship, especially as this is seen now to support the African Union's 6th region agenda?
Like I said before, it's very, very important that we know that when you have a country like St. Lucia, who obviously would have a lot of things to do with Nigeria, we're looking for countries that we can export some of the things we have in Nigeria too, because our traditional customers or alliance or friends are probably in some worth are sort of closing their borders to us because of the stringent rules of engagement they're putting on the table. And I believe that it makes a lot of sense for us to start to look at new market. For instance, you can say, oh, Nigeria is predominantly a petroleum exporting nation or gas nation. We should start looking at countries that would take some of these things off our table, because you don't want a situation where you have your goods to export, and at the end of the day, your traditional clients or customers are now bringing conditions that probably you will not be very comfortable with. So, in my opinion, I think that it is strategic, and it makes a lot of economic sense to take a trip like this at a time like this, when everybody's looking for new alliances all over the place.
And what kind of follow-up actions now would be necessary now to ensure that this diplomatic mission doesn't end up as just a mere ceremonial engagement?
Okay, so I know that Mr. President has gone there with some aides, and I'm sure they're taking notes. Like I said, there's a lot to learn from them, and there's a lot to share with them. I'm hoping that when they return back to Nigeria, they will now start to work on the things they've learned and the opportunities that have opened up to them. You're very right. You don't want a situation where at the end of the day, after this visit, they would justify those who have been criticizing the fact that this is probably a journey on vacation for Mr. President. I'm one of those Nigerians that believe that it is possible to take advantage of a visit like this. And my hope would be that when Mr. President returns with his team, they will get to work. They will be able to clearly sort of highlight the things they've learned and how they want to take that forward. So that, for me, will be the right step to take. Because without a doubt, it is impossible to go to a place like that and not have lessons to learn.
All right, and that's a fine place to live in. Thank you so much, Lucia Adeyemo, for your insights on the news at 10 tonight.
Thank you so much for having me.